Hi everyone, my name is Lane Marley Hoke, and I am going to be walking you through some pieces in my portfolio. I like to consider myself an artist, animal enthusiast, and amateur animator. I really got my creative start in visual art, particularly drawing, but since then I have branched out to include graphic design and most recently animation. The pieces I am presenting today cover these three main creative fields and are some of the pieces I'm most proud of. First up is a logo animation I created for Milk Maestro, who is a video game streamer just starting out. The main goal of this project was to create a bold visual that could be used to introduce video content across multiple social platforms, and I wanted it to be concise but defined. In addition to the logo animation, I also started by creating the logo independently, and that really started the initial inspiration for the whole brand concept. I wanted to play off the milk part of their name because I thought that could be fun, and I used traditional stop motion animation for the video just to help it feel more visually unique. The first step of the design process was, of course, making a storyboard, and I luckily had a very clear idea in my head of how I wanted the entire video to look. Again, having created the logo first, it gave me a good starting point to play off of, and I kind of mimicked what visually was already happening in the logo, but in an animated form. I did end up making one adjustment after going through a rough layout of the video, but all in all, my original concept is what turned into the final product. The next part of the process was to create the actual physical scene assets, and then I ended up refining them digitally. I hand cut and drew all of the parts needed for each of this animated scenes, and I took all the individual photos, then adjusted the colors and overlaid everything onto a new background in Photoshop. And after who knows how many more steps of tweaking each scene and reshooting images and finding the perfect audio, I finally had the finished video all complete. Moving on to the next project, this was a graphic design job for an event that was hosted by Integral Thread, an interior design showroom. It involved creating digital and print assets that would be used across their social media and displayed in their store leading up to and at the event. The business was hosting a party for one of their furniture manufacturers who already had a well-established brand. So I wanted to design a campaign that felt cohesive with what was existing, but also felt exclusive to this particular event. I pulled from the ever-classic Polaroid motif while adding some elements that I think made everything still feel modern as well. From there, I developed a main poster image displaying all the event info, and I created individual Polaroid images for each furniture piece. Something I really wanted to utilize was the fact that Polaroids are physical in nature. So in addition to the main poster, I had oversized prints of each of the furniture Polaroids that were displayed around the business's store, and actually led the viewer eventually to see the event poster. After creating the main assets, I then needed to implement some stuff on social media, which involved static and video content. The main static content was a series of Instagram grid posts that formed one larger image. I also created a preview reel that showed the event space and that it was going to be transformed with the new furniture. And then lastly, I created an Instagram filter that was available leading up to and during the event that guests could use. The final main task for this project was including content that would be used during the actual party, and stuff that went together with all of the other designs, but were still fun in their own way. So I had a super large foam poster printed of the Polaroid template. I cut out the center and I secured it to a stand, which was set up in front of one of the furniture settings to be used as a photo booth for all of the party goers. That was by far the most exciting piece, but we also had small, close to actual Polaroid sized cards printed out that showed the same images as before of all of the furniture pieces, but on the back actually had information about them, such as price, the name, the dimensions, because ultimately, this was a party to showcase the furniture and hopefully make some sales, so it was important to make all of that info easily accessible to anyone who attended. The final piece I'm showing you is a drawing that was done for a small business in Colorado Springs. I actually made this piece while I was working there not too long out of high school, and the big task for this one was to draw their ice cream accurately. It's highly desirable among the community, so I really wanted to do it justice. Ultimately, it was still meant to be a marketing piece, so along with the ice cream and their famous homemade waffle cones, I wanted to include their business name and colors. Step 1 was to draw. Easy. I actually started by taking a lot of reference images. I used a cone that I scooped and actually hand rolled myself. So of course I used one of my favorite flavors, which was Thin Mint, one of their limited edition ones. It didn't hurt that I got to eat it afterwards too. Definitely was not the main reason for this project whatsoever. And once I was done with the piece, I of course had it framed, and then it was prominently displayed in their store among all of their awards that they've won for their amazing ice cream. They've actually since moved locations, same area that they were before, but the piece moved with them, and I will still get some old Facebook friends sending me pictures of it when they go get ice cream, and it always makes me so excited to see. Thanks so much for listening and viewing some of the work that I am most proud of. I have more projects showcased on my social media accounts and on my website if anyone is interested in seeing more. But in the meantime, I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and thank you again for your time.